To build our garland, you're going to need a 260 inner sculpting balloon, as well as your pre-made clusters. We're going to attach our 260 around our cluster, and by doing so, you're just going to tie it around the balloons and then tie it into a double knot. Double knot is important because it needs to be secure, and you need to have a tail on both sides. One of the tails does need to be longer than the other, but you do need tails on both sides, and you can see that here. Think of each cluster like a building block. We're going to grab the longer tie of the two ends, and like we did with the red one, we're going to wrap it around our second cluster of balloons. 1 or 2 loops will just be enough to hold this in place. The key is using a stretched out balloon to keep it all tight together. And I still have plenty of my tie on the end here to work with for my next cluster. Just like the blue balloons, I'm going to be attaching this red cluster and making sure that my 260 is stretched out, because once it shrinks up, it's going to pull those balloon clusters closer together. And so far, this is what our garland is looking like. It is a trust the process. Remember, this is just the base. Now attaching these orange balloons. I am building this garland for a display. There is a method to my madness here, so don't worry about that. You'll see I'm starting to struggle with my 260 because I am at the end. So what I'm going to do here is just tie it on itself so it's tying it off. And this way it will stop any of the clusters from popping off the 260. As I'm not going to be adding many more clusters to this garland, I am just going to be cutting in half a 260. I don't need it all right now, and I can use the other half later. And just like we did in the beginning, we're just going to be looping one of those 260s around one cluster of balloons. So here I am attaching it to the orange ones and making sure I have 2 tails, one of the tails being long so I can work with that. Now we're adding on this white cluster, and just like the building blocks, we are tying it round with our long tie, couple of loops here, and then tying it off. To finish off the base of the balloon garland, I am also going to be adding one more cluster. It will be an orange cluster, and I'm using the other half of that 260 we cut up earlier. So tying it off here onto the red balloon cluster, which is at the other end, making sure I have 2 ties and one that is longer. I'm going to be using this longer tie here to wrap around the orange cluster of balloons. A loop or 2 around the cluster and then tying it off on itself, because this is the other end of our balloon garland. And this is how we build the base to our balloon garland. Just a reminder, our garland is not finished yet. We do need to add more dimension. This is just the base. I've hung it up just for display purposes only, so you can see what it does look like being hung up on the wall. We are going to be adding some more, so stay tuned for the next part.